So now we will discuss about the data types in Python. Data type, which means which is going to define that a particular variable what kind of data is going to hold. So before starting this session, let's change the file name first with data types in Python. Now let's type the main heading for session, that is data types in Python. So as you can see, these are the data types of Python. Let's connect first so that there will be no error while running the code. Yes, now it's connected. Hide the toolbar. Now, yes. So the data types in Python, basically we are having all these are as a data types in Python. Numeric, in numeric we are having the integer, complex number as well as float. In integer, we are storing the data in form of whole numbers, positive or negative, but not in the decimals. So to store the data in form of decimals, we are going to store the data in float. To store the data, which is the combination of integers as well as the imaginary numbers, that we are going to store inside the complex number. The second data type, which is a dictionary. In dictionary, we are storing the data in form of key and value pairs. In dictionary, we are storing the data in curly braces. Now the next one, that is Boolean. In Boolean, we are storing the data types in form of true or false. So like we are when we are going to discuss the operators like membership operator, in, not in, and identity operator, that is or is not. So these type of operator, when we are going to use in any Python program, so they will return the output as in the terms of true and false. True, which means the condition will satisfy. False, which means the condition will not satisfy. So true and false are the types of Boolean data type. Now the next one is set. In set, we are storing the data in curly braces only, but not in the form of key value pairs. Now the last one, that is the sequence type. In this one, we are going to store the data in form of strings, in form of list, and in form of tuples. After this session of data types in Python, we are going to discuss strings and its method in detail, then list and its methods in detail, as well as the tuple and its method. And in the same way, we are going to discuss for set also and dictionary also. String, the data, like if I want to store my name in the variable like Monu Jakhar, so I will store inside the single quotes or in the double quotes. So whatever we are going to write inside the single quote or double quote, Python interpreter will understand as a string data type. Next one is list. In list, we are storing the data in square brackets, but in square brackets you can store the data of different data types, which means inside the list we can store integer also, complex also, float also, as well as strings also. Last one is tuple. In tuple, we are storing the data in parentheses, and in this one, the tuple is immutable in nature. Now, in the end of this session, we are going to discuss what is the difference between mutable and immutable data types in Python. Before moving into that, we are going to declare, or we are going to understand by declaring the variables of every data type. Then we are going to discuss about the what are the mutable data types in Python and what are the immutable data types in Python. So now first let's discuss that what do you mean by a data type. Data type, which means it tells that a variable will held what type of data. As well as you can write in this way also. It tells that that the variable, that what kind of data, you can write this. It tells that what kind of will hold by a variable. For example, as we can say, now consider this a is the variable and I want to store the data is Python string here. So it means variable a is holding a string type of data. Why I am writing this definition? So that it will be easy for everyone to remember it. So now let's start writing the code for the very first, that is integer. Now let's declare the variable a, and now let's declare the another variable. In this one, the same time, let's write the comment also, that integer. In this one we are holding 5.5, which means it is holding float data type. So float data type in which we can assign the values in the decimal format. Now let's discuss here 5 plus 5 j. This is complex data type. Now let's discuss the another one. Yeah, another one is that is dictionary. So in dictionary we will be holding the data in form of key, value and pairs. So now let's discuss this AB is key. And now let's hold the value of 5. Declare another key CD and hold the value of 6. This is the dictionary. This is how we are storing the data in dictionary. This AB is known as key in the in this dictionary, and this 5 is the value. So that's why I told you that in the dictionary we are storing the data in forms of key and value pair. So now here we are having two keys and two value, or we can say two key value pairs. Next one, that is boolean. Now let's store, that is true. Now we are storing the data type is boolean. Let's arrange them in a proper sequence here. Now the another one, that is set. In set also we are going to store inside the curly braces like 10, 20 and 30. This is set. Now let's declare the another variable. In another variable, now we are going to discuss about the sequence type. First one is string. So this is how we are going to store inside the string in what in single quotes or in the double quotes. This is also string as we have stored here. This is the integer. This is string h. Now in this one we will store the data type of list. So this is how we can store inside the list. So in list we can store the data type of multiple data types, like as you can see I have stored the integer also, I have stored the string also. So this is list. Now the only one left, that is tuple. In tuple we are storing the data types in parenthesis 10, 20 and 30. This is tuple. So we have discussed all the major types of data types in Python. Now we will be discussing the typecasting, like if you want to check the data type of these variables. So now let's discuss, start running the print. A is, then comma, we want to check the type of A here. So now let's run and check. So A is the class of integer as we have discussed. So in the same way you can check for the all data types, that B is, this is the comment, it's up to you that if you want to write or not, or you can just simply type inside the print type B, and now let's run. As you can see type B is float we are having, and the type C, this is how we can check for almost all the data types. Print C is type of C. As you can see, this is the complex type of data type. Print D is type D. Now in the same way we will be checking for the every variable which we have declared here. E is type of E. Now let's run all of these. So as you can see, as we have discussed here, one is left, that is I. So print. So yes. So now as you can see here, the way we have discussed here, first we have declared the variable here, and these are the data types. So data type, which means that what type of value is going to hold by a variable. Now we can say that the variable E is holding the Boolean data type. Variable G is holding the string data type. So in the same way, if you want to check the particular data type, so you can just run this program in such a way that the type function is used to check the particular data type of any variable. So I hope that the data types in Python, this topic is clear to everyone. and how we can declare the variable of different data type, as well as how we can check it. So now we are going to discuss the mutable data types in Python and immutable data types in Python. Let me write here as a text so that we can maintain the notes also. Mutable data types, which means which can be edited and immutable data type which cannot be edited. So mutable data types are those data types which can be edited after declaring the variable, and mutable data type are those data type which cannot be edited once we have declared. Or we can write in this manner that which can be changed after creation and which cannot be changed after creation or after declaring it, we can write. So now let's discuss the mutable data types and immutable data types. So mutable data types, as we have discussed, that which can be changed after the creation, and immutable data types which cannot be changed after creating it, or we can say like after creation. So here the mutable data types are the immutable ones which cannot be changed after creation, that is integer, complex number, float, as well as the tuple. But the list, set, and dictionary, these are the data types which we can edit once we have declared it. So now let's understand by the example. Mutable data type example of list. So now let's consider that we have declared one list here, and this list we are having the value 10, 20, and 30. So now in L1 I want to make change at the position of 1, that at position number 1 15 should insert. So now print L1, and before making these changes let's check the L1. So now let's run it. So as you can see, once we are going to use the print command here, so it will return 10, 20, and 30. But now if we are going to make some changes according to the place, so this 10 is at the place of 0, 20 at the place of 1, and 30 at the place of 2. So it means in the list 1 at the position number 1 I want to enter 15. So the 15 will be entered here and it will replace the original one. So which means we have already declared this one. Now we are making some changes according to the position. So we can easily make the changes in the list. So we can say the list is a mutable data type, which means which can be edited after the creation. So now let's understand one example, that of immutable data type example using string, because string is also a immutable data type. Let's declare the variable a and Python. Now I want to replace at the position number 2. I want to write here. Now let's consider 0, 1 and 2. By mistake I have written y. But I want to write here is, that is t. Now print a. Now it will throw an error because Python object does not support item assignment, which means Python is immutable in the nature. But if we are going to make the changes according to the position in the list, we can easily do it. So it means list is mutable and a string data type is immutable. And this is how we can check for every particular data item. So now after discussing the data items, now let's discuss the some naming rules also in Python. For declaring the value, let's discuss the naming rules of variable. So now let's discuss the naming rules. First one is that a variable can be a combination of numbers and alphabets. Second, that is a variable must not start with number, must not start with a number. Now no space, there should be no space in variable. There should be no space in variable. Now if you want to give this space, so we can use underscore, can be used. Underscore can be used. Now let's discuss some. We do not need to learn the rules only, we will apply it. also that now let's declare, like I want to declare the with the alphabet. We will try in all cases with the combination of alphabets and digit. Python. Now we will start with the, we will save with the only number 9a. In all combination we will try. Then now let's discuss. We will check that which one will throw an error and which one will not throw an error. Underscore a and Python. So there are only two cases which can throw the error. So first we will put the hyphen hashtag in front of them so that our program will not get disturbed. Uh, Now let's run. First we will check for the A. Let's remove it. We will call one by one. Check for A, then print check for A9 also. So as you can see, we are having an error that this number will not start with 9a as we have declared here. So what we can do, we can, let's put hashtag in front of it and now let's run. Now this 9 is also showing the error, which means a number, a variable must not start with a number. Is it clear? And so 9 is here and this 9a is here, both are invalid as a for declaring the variable. So you can write here invalid variable, and same you can write here, that is invalid variable. Now let's run again. So now it will run, which means there is one more rule, that underscore can be used in this way also. Let me write it complete. Underscore can be used in the beginning of variable as well as in the middle also. Now let's check the another one also. One we have left about the space. So a space 9 is equal to Python. Now let's try to run this one also. So it will show us error because there will be no, there should be no space between the variables. So we will say this is invalid variable. Let's put the hashtag in front of this also so that it will not cause any error to our program. So now as you can see, these three are the invalid variables and rest all are the valid variables. So these are the naming rules of declaring a variable in Python. So in this video, we have discussed the mutable data types, immutable data types, all the different data types of Python, as well as we have discussed how we are going to check the particular data type of Python, as well as some naming rules to declare a variable in the Python. So now we will discuss that how we can check the ID of a particular variable. Write a program. Write a program to check the identification of a variable in Python. So now we will declare one variable, that is string, and now let's check the id of this print id of a. So this is the id of variable a in this program. This is the basically the memory space, the memory id which is used by the variable a. Now in the same way, let's check for the uh, list data type 10, 20 and 30. Print id of b variable, and now let's check. So this is the particular unique id of the variable b. There is a concept while checking the id also, that we can check whether that whether that variable is mutable or not. So we can check that whether that variable is mutable or not, we can check by the id also. If this id will not change, will remain same, then it means that data type is mutable, we can change it. If the id on every time, so which we can say that this data type is immutable. Now let's check by the example only. Now in this variable b, I want to make some changes. That is, at the position 1, I want to enter 15 here. So now I will check the id of b. So now let's check. So as you can see, this id is same, which we can say, which means in the mutable data types, the id of the variable after making some changes also, it will be the same. So in such cases, if the id is same, so it means those data types are mutable in nature. Now let's check in the string case also. Now we will overwrite this Kumar. So now let's change the print id of a. So now as you can see, the id is the id has changed now. So it means if the memory address is changing, then it means that data type is immutable in nature. If after making some changes, if if you want to check that what changes we had made here, so you can check here, like now the this one, as you can see, in this variable b, we were having the data that is 10, 20, 30. In this one we are having the data 10, 15 and 30, but still the id, the memory address is wait, yes. So as you can see that in this one 10, 20, 30 is the value, and in this one 10, 15 and 30 is the value, but still as you can see, the id, the memory address is same here also and here also for the variable b, after making some changes also. But if we will discuss in the terms of immutable data type, so string is a immutable data type. So now as you can see, as you can check here, we were having the value as a python here, and here the value is Kumar. So once we are going to overwrite it, once we are going to make some changes in that variable, then the value, then that id or the memory address will change. So if the memory address will change for a particular variable, so it means that is a immutable in a nature. So in the next video we will be discussing about the strings. In the next one we are going to discuss about the strings and its method. So today we have discussed about the data types in Python, how to declare the variable, how to check the particular data type of a variable, as well as we have discussed the mutable data types and immutable data types, as well as we have discussed the concept of checking the id, as well as we have discussed the naming rules for declaring a variable in Python.